everyone, it's your girl Pharmacy coming to you today with a pretty raw video. Y'all know when I come and I just talk to you, I'm just talking to you. So that's one of those kind of videos. I think it's probably going to be a bit long. I'm going to try not to make it too long, but you know, it'll be organic. If it's your first time, hey, I love Purple Hearts. If you are an OG, welcome back. And, you know, definitely like, subscribe if you feel so inclined, if I meet your vibe test. And let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's get into it. We've got some noises that are going to probably be happening in the back because the team is working. So hopefully it's not too distracting. I wanted to come and kind of do, I guess, a reintroduction of sorts type video and a little update because I just posted a video that is focused on working with the NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service, which is an agency of the USDA. It's an agency that our farm works with and partners with. And this one was on conservation planning activities, CPAs. They used to call them CAPs, conservation activity plans, something like that. They changed the terminology. You know how the government do. They be changing the terminology on stuff. But anyway, they're plans that essentially the government will pay for farmers to protect their natural resources. And the reason that these plans are so helpful are that, number one, it's providing you with a lot of technical assistance, some guidance, and resources. Because if they create these plans for you, then they are the government is much more likely to support you in implementing the activities that are in the plan. And I know a lot of people are like skeptical. Oh no, stay away from the government. I get it. All right. It's not like their track record is, you know, squeaky clean with us. No, that's not the case. However, from my background as a fundraiser who is considered a generalist, which means I worked through the different areas of fundraising and have a pretty well-rounded resume in that regard. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. We're going to touch on that. But I see how government grants work. I see how government funding works. Here's my take. Here's my POV, as they say, right? The system for disseminating these funds was not developed with a farmer like me in mind. Okay, they weren't. All right, they weren't. At the time that the agricultural industrial complex was being developed and these systemic foundations were being set, the focus was on white, preferably Christian, property-owning men. Okay? And what we've done with this system throughout the years is we've tried to, you know, bend it here, let's insert something here, let's lay something on top of it. But the foundations of the system remain the same. If the system was built to benefit who I just previously stated, then it's not going to be designed to take from you. You have to look at which layers have been added to take from you. And the area that the government has done just extremely poor in is when it comes to loans and using loans to indebt those who the government owes a debt to, right? That like none of this has ever, there's not been any squaring away. And then they're able to take land and through things like taxes. But when it comes to subsidies, when it comes to grants, when it comes to assistance with far looser strings, if any, those aren't designed to, put you in a position where you got to put your land up for collateral. Like we would never, ever do anything that required us to put our assets up against in order to guarantee or secure. We're not doing that. But when it comes to these programs, Uncle Sam has never had an issue taking taxes out of my check or, the myriad other ways that my money heads up to the Capitol, whether it's state, whether it's federal, never had any qualms with getting my money. So I personally have no issue. Plus, I see how much is out there. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a lot. And so for us, we're not dependent. Don't become dependent on government funding. That would be putting yourself in an extremely vulnerable position. That's not a sustainable business model for most farming operations. Maybe if you're a very, very large farming operation and you've got offices that churn out applications and, we know what it is. That's different. But if you are small, mid-sized farmer, then no, you don't become dependent on government support, but you leverage the hell out of it. So if I can get support to help me cover crop, if I can get support to, help pay for mulch, if I can get support to have some expertise provided to my farm that's going to help us not only environmentally, but economically, then absolutely. You got high tunnels? We need high tunnels. Absolutely. So that allows us to take our revenues and put it towards other things. So yeah, let me, put the revenues generated from sales towards building, towards the things that the government won't cover and the things that they can assist with. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, anywho, my background, having worked in grants and being more familiar with how that system works, yeah, I don't have any problem with our farm being the recipient of support. And so all of that, the last video, if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to, if you're serious. And I know sometimes it may not be as entertaining, it may not be as, attention grabbing, but when you're focused, when you want something, you will sit there, you will read that book, you will watch that video, you will listen to that lecture. Like you will, when you really, really focused on it. So, all right, back to the professional thing. I became a full-time farmer in May of last year. Now, that was not necessarily by design. I was actually terminated, so fired, from my position at this large environmental organization. And let me give you just a little background. First, there are not a lot of Black fundraisers in the profession as a whole. As a whole, the profession is majority white women. And then when you start getting into the leadership positions, not surprisingly, it's mostly white men. In the process of being this vessel for resources, because a lot of money can flow through a fundraiser. I've had millions and millions and tens of millions, potential hundreds of millions of dollars that have either flowed through me or could have flown through me. I've always been upfront about that. And so I went into the environmental space. So you already have the philanthropy space, which doesn't have a lot of representation from Black fundraisers and other fundraisers of color. Now, for those who feel that, oh, you just talk about black, that's not the case. I advocate for a lot. Publicly, I typically am going to refer to Black people because it seems like this country, this world has an especial issue with its anti-Blackness. That I am going to always look for opportunities to make the work that's being done more equitable without, there seems to be a sentiment that in making something more equitable, it makes what's being proposed less effective. And that's a delusion that exclusion creates. I was actually the first Black person, period. The first Black person to hold this title at the organization. And essentially, I was one of the most senior fundraisers. Like, it was a small group of us, and we were the global, I was going to say Jedi, but Jedi has, is used as an acronym for justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And this team was not that. Okay. But we were these senior level principal gift officers, and we worked the planet, right? And they weren't ready to have a Black person in that role. There is an anti-Blackness that exists, and it is pervasive and corrosive in the environmental space. And in my role, I dealt with a lot. And mind you, I was the first, and I was a Black woman. Now, my former employer will contend that this is all a figment of my imagination, that I experienced no such things. And so, we disagree on that. And we are in the process of legally, I guess, dealing with it. It's a process when you make a claim against an organization for racism, discrimination, retaliation, and I have made a claim. And so there's a process that things have to go through. I've spent a lot of money in legal representation. I actually got a bill I need to go pay now for over $6,000. That's the balance. And I've primarily used my personal savings to be able to fund that. I didn't want to take from the farm and stunt my growth as an environmentally conscious, equity committed, economically significant member of society. And the irony that I'm having to do this against an organization that says that it wants to play a significant role in ensuring the continued sustainability and viability of our planet. It's just something that, despite all of that, we have still been able to create something here. We still are, creating space for our business, for other businesses. We're part of a community that continues to persist and exist despite. Oh, you need me?
I just wanted to show you something.
Oh, I'm wrapping up. Give me just a sec. All right. So, to help offset the expenses for my current legal dealings with my former employer, but also to put something good into the world. Because I want to always focus on being better and not letting anyone make me bitter, because that's not my purpose. That's not my purpose. So we've developed a tea, accountability. It is a detox tea that works with your body's natural detoxification system. It's not coming in trying to take over. It's not coming in trying to interrupt. It is supporting and enhancing your body's natural detoxification system. It is detoxification fortitude in an herbal package. And it has spearmint, which is it's great for your digestion. It's great for your gastrointestinal health. But it's also good for your skin. And we got something coming for y'all. But let me not get ahead of myself. Holy basil, which is just a tremendous healing plant. It's an adaptogen. Helps us be able to deal with all the changes in the environment. Wow, this video's getting long. We've got some dandelion flower, another great detoxifier. We've got evening primrose flower. We've got yellow dock root, which is probably one of the best herbs for your intestinal support. And it is also a natural laxative, again, that works with your body's detoxification system. So accountability, and on the back of accountability is a QR code. My finger is over it. Is a QR code that you can scan and get updates on where we are with things. So I just wanted to make this video. I'm not trying to be vague, but you know, the process of going through these dealings, you have to be careful. Everything I say, like y'all, I'm being watched ridiculously. It's ridiculous. Everything I post, everything I say, I'm not allowing them to dampen my spirit, to silence my tongue, to in any way make me dim my light, because that is white supremacy at its finest. And I'm not doing that. I'm not. Because I did go through, I went through some stuff, y'all. I went through some stuff emotionally, mentally, psychologically. I went through some stuff. And I'm so grateful for plant medicine. I'm so grateful for this farm, because it truly, in so many ways, by what we're creating, putting good out into the world, doing it in a way that is in alignment with our values, and with being the type of, you know, or working hard to be the type of company we feel that we need more of in the world. We aspire to have a good life, but there's enough for everybody. There is enough for everybody. There really is. You know, racism is traumatic. It's traumatic. And it leaves a mark. It leaves a mark. And yeah. So that's all I have to say. That's a little update, a little background on me, a little more about me, more about what drives us, our mindset, our values. And yeah, if you watch till the end, oh, you the MVP. You're the MVP. Thank you so much. If you'd like to subscribe, then definitely do that, and hopefully give us a thumbs up. All right, I gotta go. I'm needed. Bye.